All right, we are back for another chapter of our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough here on Three of Swords Gaming. And an unfortunate thing happened while I took my little break. I decided to run and grab the harvesting tools, the unbreakable harvesting tools that came with the deluxe, and I think it actually, not just deluxe, I think it came with like the upgraded, like the mid-grade package as well. But certainly came with a deluxe package for Janthir Wilds, which is these harvesting tools, and then you take the original harvesting tools you received, run them to Lion's Arch real quick. There's a dude over by the trading post who will then trade in the original mining tool or logging tool or harvesting tool for one that also comes with a box with a glyph, so you have glyphs as well. That's all good. I'm glad they added the glyph thing, makes it a little bit more rewarding. So we got glyphs of volatility because that volatile magic is nice. But when coming back, I scooted right through here along a little path and got just close enough to Poised Arrow to trigger the dialogue. So apparently, we did not need to talk to Poised Arrow. As soon as we came near him, the dialogue triggered. And it triggers like two sets of dialogue. And so I'm going to go through that real quick because I did not have my headphones on, so by the time I realized it was happening, I'd already missed a chunk of it. Too late to start recording it. So I'm going to go back through it and go over it real quick, and then we'll continue with the story. As the commander approaches Poised Arrow, the commander says, "What is it?" And Poised Arrow says, "Straight to the matter. Wayfinders waste no time on windy hellos. Pleasantries be damned." Commander says, "I see Malice has gotten you up to speed on our communications," because Poised Arrow has a communicator now, which is just great. I love that communicator. One of the most disruptive, distracting things that they've ever included in the game. Poised Arrow says, "She gifted it to me to keep in touch. A neat device for sure." Commander says, "So you waited for me to walk here when you could have called me?" So Poised Arrow, a person after my own heart, apparently was having none of that nonsense with the communicator. It says, "And forgo a chat face to face when you're a stone's throw away? Thank you, Poised Arrow. Besides, I imagine it gets tiresome being always reachable. Surely one needs uninterrupted time with their thoughts." "Yes, I do. Make the communicator go away." Poised Arrow continues, "Speaking of life's interruptions, my pa requires a favor. Some small task for which he finds you fit. Said to meet him in the lower waterfalls at an old place of ours. Making my way over there now. I'll see you there. By the way, I'd make haste if I were you. My pa values promptness. Lateness won't anger him, but it surely won't impress him. I speak not from experience, so obviously he speaks from experience." Commander says, "Good to know. Bye now." I don't know why the commander is so short with Poised Arrow. It's odd dialogue writing, but okay. Right then, Frode butts in on the communicator, of course, and says, "I heard things are going smoothly with Lowlanders, Wayfinder. That's good. I'd love to talk. Probably best done in person." And the commander says, "We'll need to be quick. I have a standing invitation with the Claw. Might know about you-know-who." Okay, and we know who. I don't actually remember her name now, but it's, clearly, a reference to the missing Kodan, like something Sorrow, Waiting Sorrow or something like that. So we need to come up here and talk to Frode. It's interesting that they have Poised Arrow say to us, "Hey, you know, Stoic Alder really values people being on time, and that's an important thing." And then immediately they put us in a position to not honor that and kind of do our own thing. Um, I don't know why this is so deceptive on the map, by the way, that right underneath the green story thing, there's like a vendor or something with the down arrow, and it makes it look like Frode is downstairs. Frode is not downstairs. He's right here. I almost did that for the second time today. All right, Frode. I have somewhere I'm supposed to be. What do you want?
Ah, there you are. Tell me, how are the lowland Coden?
They're a little skeptical, but welcoming. Some creature has them on edge.
My ward has reported the same, the good and the mysterious. Strangers pending. I'm glad it's going well. Now, as for your second mission, any sign of her?
Not yet, though that barbed veil character definitely turned a few heads.
It's a journey, not a race. Haven't gotten much more out of Iskaran myself. I asked Dagda about her departure. Claims that it was a building reaction to the deaths of Voss and Akeem, former court members. started isolating herself. She was detached from the rest of them, left a note before she fled. But that's all I've gotten so far. I'll let you know if anything else kicks up. Before you head back to the village, Vanak wanted to speak with you about something. A couple rift sightings outside of Moon Camp. Probably good to stay on top of that.
Cryptus, you think?
Maybe not. Could be the strangers. But I bet the Coden would appreciate it. Could swing them to joining the Alliance.
I'd forgotten about that. So we get a little bit more about Waiting Sorrow, disappearing from the Astral Ward, and it's still nothing that constitutes like any sort of sketchy behavior. What they describe is pretty understandable. So I'm still very lost on why the Astral Ward treat her disappearance the way they do and why Isgarin behaves the way he does about it. I find it super bizarre. So when I was down here before, and maybe they've patched this out, Archivist Eker over here started rambling about relics while I was trying to talk to Vanak. Hopefully it doesn't happen this time.
Wayfinder, thanks for stopping by. Know you're busy, but I'd like your eyes on this one. Not sure how much Frode said, but we've had a few rift sightings in the area. Don't think it's Cryptus, but I'm not thrilled. That's something you can look into.
Of course.
Alright. I don't like this even a little bit.
Listening.
Rifts are not good content. And I'm not the only person who feels that way. A lot of people feel that way. What's more, I think a lot of people, even people who might have liked them initially, are like very tired of them at this point. And yet, we can't get away from it because Arena just absolutely has to include that. They're already on the beast, which means another one's going to spawn soon. They absolutely have to keep this Rift thing going. They just can't bear to admit that it was not something that people liked. That is, in my opinion, real unfortunate. Now, I do understand they do maintain the same rewards. And I don't even know why I'm heading over there. That's obviously going to be done before I get there. And I do appreciate that in terms of people trying to work on the legendary armor. It is nice that they don't have to return to Secrets of the Obscure to continue doing that. They can enjoy the new content and still work towards their legendary armor, at least to a degree. At least for the Rift portion. That's fine. It's good. Good on them. But the Rifts aren't good. They're not good. And the fact that they really forcibly shoved it into this story is not likable. I could go on and on about it, but I would essentially be saying the same thing over and over because that's just my stance on that. So, just the same, it looks like we're going to have to do a few riffs to get to the point that I really want to get to, which is the next actual meaningful story portion, because I now remember what the next story portion has for us, and it's something I've been looking forward to. I want to do it, and I can't, because instead I have to do riffs. Some of my least favorite content in the game. Unfortunate. Alright. Interact with the rift. So, the commander is shocked because these are not, whatchamacallums. They are, these little titanlings instead. They aren't Cryptus. And, I guess that's a big deal for the commander. I'm actually not terribly enjoying Spear here. And you know what I did not pay attention to in the slightest is which mastery I'm actually advancing as I continue to play through, and probably what we want to do, honestly, is switch it back to where we're advancing the Warclaw track so we can get the first step knocked out on that, instead of, I assume we're working on the second step of, we can't do it right now. There we go, now we're out of combat. Yeah. So I'd rather kind of work on this. 9 lives, I believe that allows us to not take falling damage. That's a nice thing to have. So probably a better thing for us to work on right now.
Feel the fury. I can't replenish it. I'll break you down.
Alright, and probably... I don't remember the exact... It looks like we're going to need to do 3 of them, probably. Oh, looks like maybe 2 will do the trick.
Feel the fury.
That's nice. Because they suck. This sucks.
Time to do some real damage.
I should probably pay attention to my health, I guess. Oh, buddy. There we go.
Rejoining the fight. Heal as one.
Alright. The one thing I will say for rifts, it's true right now, it was true in Soto as well, is they are useful for piling on, you know, and really I should have thought of this earlier when I were trying to advance that mastery track, is good for getting events on demand to advance mastery tracks. Or what's going on here? There we go. And maybe that's part of the appeal. I think they're garbage, but if someone said I like them for that reason, I guess I wouldn't argue with them. I would have to concede that it's like a valid point.
Feel the fury. Clear the air. They'll have to hit much harder. Time to do some real damage.
Alright, good. Oh, but we gotta go back and talk to Vinok again. Unnecessary, but apparently necessary. Alright. Well, fine. I'm coming, Vinok. We can have a meaningful conversation about something, I suppose. Alright, buddy.
The feline companions of the lowlanders. What do they call them?
Journeykin. I heard that one attacked a scouting party. The one I met was quite darling.
They're cute, but I'm also getting some strange readings. Nothing bad, just odd. As a species, they seem to possess some type of magic. I don't know how that magic manifests, but the vision crystal in my pocket nearly popped when I got close to one. So I looked into it. And you know which creature has a similar magical composition? The Warclaw.
Wait, no. Truly? From the Mist's battles?
Yes, and We know that war claws are bound by potent souls. What if these creatures are their origin?
Huh. All right. Well, there we have quite a bit more information on the relationship between Warclaws and the Warclaws on this map, the Journeykin. Interesting. I'm glad I stumbled across that because I had not heard that dialogue previously, and it does put together a few pieces. And that is kind of a thing that ArenaNet tends to do is provide details, not just in the story, but kind of all over the place. And they're one thing the studio's very, very, very good at is ambient dialogue. I don't recall seeing that armor. Oh, is it just the scarf over something else? Yeah, I guess it. Anyway, all right. What you got, Vanek?
Huh. Definitely not cryptis, but I'm not sure what they are. Thanks. I'll pass it up the chain.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. I'm here for you. All right.
Sweet, sweet.
So, chapter 2, in terms of how they put the story together, complete. I think. What are we on for the playthrough? Are we on actually chapter 4? I think. It is a slowly developing story, which I don't hate. But it is more noticeable now that I'm recording it than when I initially played through. It didn't feel quite so. It didn't feel like quite the drag that it feels right now to get through it. But anytime you do, like your second playthrough is always going to feel a little bit slower than the first one, right? Because everything is new on the first one. I already have that one, don't I? I do. Whereas now, not everything is new. Most of it I do remember, and what I don't, obviously comes back to me pretty quick. All right, we actually got to cross a good chunk of the map here from it. Well, not too bad. Okay. Oh, and there's a waypoint we don't have there. Well, we will get that waypoint soon, I guess. In fact, I think it's right. Where is that thing? Yeah, right down there, right? Like by the fish cleaning station. You know what? It's faster just to fall. There we go. Alright. Fish cleaning station. What is it actually called? Autumn's Vale waypoint? Yeah, it's the fish cleaning waypoint. Loading screens are really good in this expansion. Just a side note. Alright, hey, Stoic Alder. Sorry to make you wait.
Wayfinder. Your punctuality is appreciated.
Sorry I'm late. The Astral Ward called me to check in on something.
A busy figure you must be. Don't worry. Pokey tells me of the positive impression you've made in town. He may seem adrift in his own world, but he's a keen observer. Takes after me in that regard. As you've proven rather neighborly, I've an offer to extend. This property on which you stand belongs to my family. In recent years, it's become unsuited to our needs. Rather than leave it in disrepair, I thought it might serve as a convenient home base during your stay. All I ask in return is that you tend to it. Admittedly, I've neglected my domestic responsibilities. Graciously, Pokey has tried to care for it on my behalf. But his pace of work has always been unhurried. Afraid he gets that from me as well. Have a look around then. See if the place suits you.
So it should already be pretty obvious what's happening here. This is the acquisition process. Huh. Yeah, I forgot he was up there. The acquisition process for our homestead, right? So we get to see it in its current state of disrepair. Hey, Pokey, are you supposed to be sweeping or something? I see dust mites around. If you let enough of these accumulate, they turn into a tornado and they really wreak havoc.
Oh,
Wayfinder arrives. Bet this is a change from your typical to-dos. 1 minute waging battle, the next relegated to chores. Quite fortunate for us, though. This place has seen a lot, and so have we. Been intending to ask my friends for a hand with all this, but a riveting offer it is not. Sparring? Nah, come help Pokey Dust. That's where the true fun resides. Sometimes I sneak up here, try to get a little done myself, but take my time with things I do. Every so often I fall into a swift pace, but then I come across some remaining trinket of my mother's and, well, I understand why my paw rather keep his distance from this place.
So I will say, while this is not like compelling gameplay per se, it is exciting to get your homestead, but also some of what happens here in terms of Poised Arrow talking about his mom, who is like missing. I think there's some speculation. I don't think they're clear on whether or not she died or whether or not she was like turned into some sort of minion of Jormag or what the deal was exactly. But she's gone now under any circumstances, and so that loss is felt by both Stoic Alder, who's like hanging out here. There he is, and Poised Alder, or Poised Arrow. And their dialogue is not terrible when it comes to like her absence. I actually find it to be fairly well done. So we got a thing over here in the corner. What do we have here? A dust cover. Of course, they like somehow for years didn't notice a thing over here. I found a thing. I'm not even going to tell Pokey about it. I'm going to come all the way down here to Stoke Alder. I found a thing.
You found this here. This place is no longer home to me. But perhaps it can be for you. I have no need for it any longer. And I am certain it has none for me.
Alright, thanks, Stoic Alder. So we actually have choices. This is always interesting when they choose to continue to do this, because if you played the game like during beta, you'll remember that they actually tried to implement, and it lasted for like the first year of the game, maybe not quite a year, but initially, even when the game released after the beta, they had this system in place where you had a personality sort of, and your personality would be one of these three things: dignified, charming, or I forget what this is, like ferocious, I think. And so you would you'd be like kind of aggressive, or you'd be kind of a charmer or whatever. And I think their original vision was that it would like influence the story, or that you had like, at a minimum you had flavor options, and every now and then they still throw in these flavor options, even though it's no longer a system that exists. So we have here three, and I don't know if his response would change based on these three. This is the one I chose when I played through on my main account. So what I'm going to choose again, because it's the one that I think really fits within the story. Like, I don't know who, you bet your furry behind I'll take this on. Like, jeez, calm down. I mean, I guess maybe if you're like Char or so, I don't know. But this one is like, I don't know. I get a weird vibe from that. Like, why don't we stay out of his, past personal life? Like, just because Pokey talks about it doesn't mean it's our business. I mean, this one just makes the most sense. But I don't know if we get different responses based on the others. But I do find it interesting whenever they fall back on this, or not fall back, but they choose to continue to provide these options, even though this isn't a system that's been in the game for like 11 years. All right, I'd be honored to look after the place, though.
An explanation is not owed, but it has been earned. This I made long ago for my mate. Silken Weir was her name. A small gift for bringing our little arrow into the world. As a cub,
Our son would paw at it and play when she held him. On one such occasion, I overheard her tell him, "One day, when you've grown strong and wise, like your paw, I'll make you this arrow's keeper. Then soar you shall, poised and unwavering, on a path of your own making. All these years. Still, she makes me laugh. Like your paw. When forever, it's been clear, the arrow of our lives, who I see more of in our son every day, was her. Then, Jormag came and went. And so did she. Sentimental as I am, I thought she wore this piece off to battle. But clearly now, I see why she left it. For no matter what fate would befall her, her promise to our son she'd keep, that she made sure of. When my son finds himself sickened by grief, I tell him, allow the feeling. Let it wash over you. For when the tide recedes, and it will, it weakens, till it has no power left with which to pull you. I tell him this while I stand ashore, with my own back turned to the sea.
Okay. So just in case the metaphor was lost on you, essentially what he's saying is that while he has encouraged his son to basically heal from his grief, to confront his feelings and process them and move on, he has been unable to do the same. And so here's where we get the background on Pokey's mom, Stoic Alder's wife, if you will. And it is unclear. Jormag came and went, and she went. I believe were pretty much the exact words. Let's see. Jormag came and went, and so did she. So it's unclear there what actually happened, and I appreciate the ambiguity. It wasn't done in an awkward way. In fact, I think a lot of that dialogue from Stoic Alder was actually really good. Pretty well written. I do appreciate it. Now we have to clean our homestead. I don't know that we'll kick this entire fallen wall, and thank God it just disappears. I don't know what to do with the trees. Do we just kick the trees, or I think we use our war claw on them actually? So there's an event where you use the war claw to pull with the chain pull dead tree. Oh, but that did not appear to work. Okay. Do we just smash it? Oh, I guess we just trash the trees with our weapon.
To do some real
There is an event where you pull dead trees down with the war claw, and I actually kind of like that. It's kind of cool. Make the war claw useful. But okay, so anyway, we need to now clear out our homestead. I don't mind that they made the process of claiming our homestead a thing that we do, to where we actually physically go through and do this stuff. I certainly could have done without it, but it's not weird that they chose to do it. It did not surprise me in the least the first time I saw it, and it's fine. What are you gonna do? Alright, we're gonna clean this dust pile. What is use? Oh, I shut the door. What's up with the hearth here? Can we light the hearth? We did. Hey, juvenile rock gazelle. Get your face out of the fire, dum-dum. Oh, and that reminds me, I never went and got the juvenile war claw. I got distracted by the piles of poo and forgot to actually get, because that's where, if I'm not mistaken, the juvenile warcry is right there in the exact same spot. We'll have to grab that here after this, because there's no reason not to. All right, how we doing? 6 of 8 in the house. Fortunately, it's not like super bad.
Just a second more.
Shut up, Pokey. They could have made it worse, admittedly. So I'm not gonna complain about it too much. Again, I could have gone without it. It actually feels like doing a heart. Oh yeah, I forgot. You actually have to take the rocks over here. It's kind of the annoying thing about the rocks. I don't think I did any of the termite mounds when I did this before. Why didn't it destroy when I destroyed it a second?
Feel the time to do some real damage.
Now, there is an exception to like not having to do all the things. With most of this, you just once you've done enough, the rest of them disappear. So we do a couple more of these termite mounds real quick, and then we will be done. And then we'll move on to the river, right? But there will be a point up here in a minute when we get another task, and if it's in this same instance, it might be in a later instance. But there will be an instance when we're doing chores in our homestead, and there's an achievement for doing all of the things, even though you only have to do a certain number of things. And we will probably go ahead and do all the things. I do not, by any stretch of the imagination, chase achievements these days. In fact, by and large, I find them annoying. But we may as well... I forget, do we take care of these on the surface, or... Yeah, I guess so.
I could outrun a centaur.
I wonder if we can just grab like all these drakes at once. And... So while we're taking care of this, I do think overall they did a pretty good job with the home instance. A lot of things, I don't need to take my time killing that thing when I can just come over here and finish the trap. Hey, the bridge is done. Alright. I did what your son has not been able to do for like 2 years in about like 7 minutes. So, what's up?
Shaping up quite nicely. Though a bit of decoration would give it a true feeling of home. You'd be wise to speak with Lahar, our homestead master. Decoration is one of the lowlands' finest traditions. Quite fond of it myself. I'll be happy to provide suggestions. Been told I have an eye for this sort of thing.
I don't know why. It's like a very silly thing to say. But I feel like he doesn't actually have an eye for this sort of thing. Alright. So let's go talk to Lahar, because I am keen. Again, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of decorating of the home. All right, at this point in time, at least, I don't plan to do a whole bunch of decorating. Oh, we got mail. Echoes of Night. To the one they call Wayfinder, I've been watching you. I say this not to alarm you, but rather to entice you. You see, I've been hard at work on something of a cryptozoological investigation. It seems the sort of task to which you'd be uniquely suited. Physically, without question, but also parapsychologically. That is quite a word. Your support is crucial in helping me prove the existence of the notorious crow-footed skulker. Come speak with me if you are interested in unveiling the truth. So that leads to an achievement. It is not one that I have yet finished, even on my main account. I just haven't really had the time to 100% this expansion yet. I don't even know if I will. I never did 100% Soto. I just don't care that much. And the same thing may happen with this one. We'll see. All right. Hey, Def Lahar. Hey, guy. I have a homestead.
Your leader sent me. I'm fixing up an old home of his and...
So Old's finally doing something about that place. Huh. And you're helping? Told him 1,000 times I'd help. But no, rather trust some scrawny fleshbag. Well, tough. Every homesteader in town needs materials for their pet projects.
Who's there?
No one.
Talking to someone you are. My ears are far sharper than yours.
No one worth a bother.
So Def Lahar does not think us worthy of decorating in the fine tradition of the Rando Bears. All right, so this is similar to the event that I earlier mentioned, where you pull down the trees. It's cool. It's a cool thing. So while we're gathering resources for our homestead, one of the conversations that folks are having about the homestead is that there are some folks who feel like now that they've seen the cost of crafting certain things, they feel like the crafting cost is too high. The homestead is going to end up being too expensive. And I don't agree. And I don't quite understand where they're coming from on that. If you simply look at just liquid gold and say, oh, what would it cost me to do XYZ, then maybe then maybe that's what they're seeing, but that's a weird way of looking at it. It's going to function as a sink for a lot of materials that really don't get used very much, and we'll see that here in a few minutes when we go to craft things. We'll see that there are some recipes that call for use of how you can have a lodestone, but then there are the the subordinate, lower tier equivalents of lodestone, like a sliver and I don't remember what all they are. I think the core is one of them, and I don't know, it's like a nugget or something, one of them. And those get very little use. Now you can convert them into lodestones, but a lot of times it's not really worth it, and so they just hang out in your inventory, and a lot of that kind of stuff is going to get use. Now, if you have, up until this point, simply sold all those things and you don't have them in your inventory, then you are going to experience more of a cost. But if you're the type of player who deposits everything, then you already have a lot of this stuff piled up in your material storage. It's there for you. You can craft all kinds of things. And we'll see that here in a minute. I think it's a much-needed gold sink, because I think we badly needed a gold sink. Def Lahar, I brought logs. I brought 8 logs.
Huh? You did all that? Oh, that fast?
I did.
Got work ethic, that I'll give you. What are you fixing to craft, exactly?
Well, the place could use pretty much everything.
That bad, huh? Start with the basics, then. How about a bed? Simple, practical, and if you screw it up, you won't have far to fall when the thing collapses. Now, I can give you instructions, but I can't build the damn thing for you. 'Tis the beauty of crafting. So try your hand. You get stuck, do like us lowland. Look around. No better builder than nature. Shapes, angles, patterns, all intentional, all ripe with purpose. Take birds' nests. Don't see the birds sleeping on slats of wood, huh? So you might want to follow suit. Lucky for you, best weaver in the town is right behind me. I'd still deem her best even if she weren't right behind me.
Wouldn't bet my last bit of thread on it.
Wow. So, Patient Willow, you must be patient to put up with Def Lahar. He's a lot. What's up?
Here your bed's a bit bare. Nothing to fret over. There's plenty of patterns a novice could weave well enough. Know what you're thinking. How could such unwieldy paws weave so delicate a pattern? The trick is in the tips of the claws, perfect for detailed work. Some fine things come from places overlooked, Now let's see. Perhaps... Oh, I know just the one. Used in many a tradition. Consummation of mates. Coming of age. Symbolizes new beginnings. Yes, she'll do right by you both. Best make haste now. Ald will be waiting on you. Wish him well for me.
And tell him he's hard-headed as they come about asking for help. But good on him for finally letting some light in.
Okie dokie. So it looks like... Do they both have something more to say? Maybe not. Maybe just Def Lahar. Got any books while we're in here? Apparently not. Alright. So we do need to collect materials for a bed. Open the hero panel. Why am I opening the hero panel? Crafting. Yeah. Is it an apprentice decoration? Initiate decoration? Novice decoration? Traditional code and bed. We need 30 refined homestead wood. And we need 10 honey flowers. So we're going to have to grab some of that. Now we're going to cheat on the wood, I think. What do you need? What materials do I need to craft this bed? You'll need a good amount of wood for this kind of project. But if you use higher quality logs, it won't take as many to refine what you need. How do I refine wood? You can refine wood and other materials at your homestead. You've done good work here, though. Here's a few to get you started as thanks. That's very generous of you. What else do I need? Some wool for the padding and blankets, and honey flowers are a key component of the traditional dyeing process Willow taught you. Where can I find honey flowers? Well, they're all over the place. All right, so we'll go find our honey flowers. He did just give us some wood. How much did he give us? 20. He gave us 20 out of the 30 we need. Not too shabby. We will take that. Man, I got all this stuff everywhere. It's actually kind of annoying. Although I do need to
All mine.
use all those. I want to try and finish the weekly so I can get that spear quest out of the wizard's vault. How much more of that do I need? Yeah, still need 38 more. I might buy a few because I'd like to get it knocked out this weekend or this evening. I need to get it knocked out this evening. It's Sunday. Okay. So we need honey flowers. We're gonna take care of the wood in the easy way. We're gonna kind of, I don't want to say cheat, but we're going to do something easier with the wood. But the honey flowers, aside from I suppose buying them, which I'm reasonably confident you can. In fact, I believe that's a lot of people are making money right now by farming honey flowers. Yeah, they're going for almost 10 silver. That's not too shabby, I guess. Whoops. By all means, if that's how you want to make your gold, go for it, I guess. To come back to my earlier point, I save pretty much everything until my material storage is completely full. Because later I might want those things. And sure enough, on my main account, where I just have an incredible amount of just all kinds of things. Now, I wonder what that curious artifact is. I don't remember seeing that before. Let's find out. Oh, it's just one of the books I was looking for. Well, I'll need to remember that when I get to get back on my main account. All right. I cannot spare a moment. I'm looking for honey flowers, bro. So sorry. And another thing about the cost of the homestead So obviously everybody wants to build their homestead and make it amazing now. Well, everybody who's into homesteads. I understand different sort of players like different things. But folks who are into homesteads, obviously, just like someone who's into raids wants to, wants the raid to be released and they want to clear it and so forth. Oh, look, Bog Queen again, and this time they're crushing it.
These nasty bears
I get it.
come to spoil
But the homestead is clearly something that was meant to last for a time, right? Oh, you know what? They might fail again, actually. I said they were crushing it, but I looked at the bar the wrong way. And that's not what's happening here at all. They're probably going to fail this thing. Oh, well. What are you going to do? So let it be something that provides a long-term goal. You know, I mean, isn't that like the best thing that the homestead could do? Isn't that what we want it to be? Something that provides a long-term goal? If you have everything in your homestead on day 4 of the expansion, and I don't understand why players do this. They take this approach with pretty much all content. They want to complete everything in the first few days, and then they complain when they have quote-unquote nothing to do because they completed everything in the first few days. Maybe don't grind for 18 hours a day for the first few days. Maybe just enjoy it and chill and try to take your time with it. And I definitely feel that way about the homestead. You don't have to spend 1,000 gold on your homestead on day 1 because you want your homestead to still be a thing later. Now, I do hope that we're not riding this one homestead for like years. I hope they introduce a new one with each expansion. I am scared that they will not, that they'll waste their positive momentum or their progress by fail by not expanding on the system. I'm really scared of that because I find it to be of a higher likelihood than we might want it to be. I won't speculate on what that likelihood is. If I did, 50-50, I suppose. That they just abandon it. They're like, hey, everyone's got a homestead now, we're good to hook. That would be really, really bad. And it would also be, from a business perspective, colossally stupid. They have the opportunity to make, and I said this when I talked about player housing, when I thought that it wouldn't be a thing. If you go back to my videos, like a year ago, where I talk about the possibility of player housing, I envisioned it looking different. I actually always wanted it to be, just because they have airships at multiple times throughout the story that you can actually get on, and they're actually quite large. I always wanted it to be that we could get our own airship and put like things on the airship and stuff. However, that's not how it worked out. That's fine. That would have been, that would not have been to everyone's taste. But even when I didn't think they were going to have player housing, I said that it was something that they could make an incredible amount of money off of. That remains true. And we see that now more than ever, where they can start, and I expect we're only, probably even this Tuesday, we may see the first Gem Store exclusive homestead items, where you get it not from some sort of gameplay, but from the Gem Store. I don't have a problem with that at all. Someone's going to complain about it. Someone's going to say that it's like pay to win homestead or some nonsense like that. I think it's great. That's how they're going to make money. It's aesthetic. It's not. There's no benefit to the player outside of feeling warm and fuzzy. So it is absolutely. Oh, gotta kind of hurry up and kill this guy, or we're not going to complete the event. So how could they possibly not continue to iterate on this system? Like, the very idea is like kind of mind-blowing. And yet I'm genuinely concerned that there's a possibility that that's exactly what will happen. That they will fail to iterate on it. You know, they have a history of doing stuff like that. I mean, of all like the different masteries and different systems that they've introduced, ask yourself like how many of them have actually continued to be relevant. And you'll come to the real unfortunate realization that many of them are no longer relevant. You know, Jade bots no longer relevant. The mounts still very much are, but um, you know, anything from Ice Brute Saga is completely irrelevant outside of electromagnetic pulse or whatever they electromagical pulse, I think is actually what they called it. But EMP is the only thing remaining from Ice Brute Saga at all that was relevant, and that's because they were poorly conceived masteries. But just the same, like the number of times they've introduced something and given up on it is incredible. I do wish they'd give up on the stupid mist portal. What are they called? I don't even remember what they're called now, but they're awful. But they would be making an incredible mistake not to iterate on housing. And I think even players that don't have interest in housing, many of them would probably admit that. Because it should be obvious to pretty much everyone that the potential to make money is there. Alright, so I'm not just running around running my mouth, although I most certainly am running around running my mouth. We are looking for honey flowers. We only need, I think, a couple more. Because we did find a few of them. I don't really want to buy them because there's no reason to buy them. Like they're on the map. I guess while running around looking for them, we could also be spamming the 2 button or the sniff skill and digging up treasure like we just did here. And it is worth noting some of these caches. How many do we have on here? Will occasionally give you like stuff that you are going to need for the legendaries from this expansion when they come out. I don't know what all those legendaries are going to require, but I do know that you get legendary items, and not like legendary weapons or something crazy like that, but just legendary items from these little treasure search things. So I can't imagine what else they would possibly be used for besides crafting, you know, the future legendaries. So very much you should be like treasure hunting on both maps with your Warclaw. I keep forgetting to do it. What's scary is I can't find any of these stupid flowers. Who was even talking to me? Alright, so it was just... Oh... I really wanted this tree. So as far as I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't gotten to this point yet, even on my main account, but as far as I can tell, these lowland pine saplings are another type of wood that they added that are specifically for crafting in your homestead. And thus, I always try to grab them when I see them. Alright, let's see if we can get some honey flower. Maybe over here. There's lots of crops over there. So when you get the bouncy Warclaw thing, where you can like triple jump in the air and stuff, it is a lot of fun. It makes most mounts irrelevant. Like the only 2 relevant mounts now are Skyscale and Warclaw. And that's kind of unfortunate. And there's some other things that they've done with mounts that I'm not a big fan of. You know, I've already hinted at it. I'm gonna stay off my soapbox right now. But it is a ton of fun to go like bouncing around on your big cat. That is really cool. What's not fun is that I'm struggling to find honey flowers. And I think we're still, you know what we can do? We can come back here. What was it, like novice decorations? Had the bed? Yeah, we still need 3 more. This is kind of an interesting event. So I accidentally touched one of these things. When you touch it, it gives you, it puts like this weird debuff on you that's covered in rot. And then before dying, which unfortunately since I did it from the furthest away possible, you run over here, cross the river without touching the water. I think you have to avoid touching the water if I'm not mistaken. I've never touched the water, so I don't know. And then deliver the rot
We'll have to
over
give
here.
you a thorough checkup after this is done.
Yeah, you will. However, I am... Wait a minute. How close are we to being done with the event? Is the event almost done? If so, we'll do it again. Oh, you know what? I think somebody already did this part of the event. It's just that, like, pollutants and stuff need to be destroyed or whatever. Yeah, there we go. Alright, well, regardless, we got participation. Even though we did the wrong part. It is kind of an interesting event with that, like, transport the debuff thing. I don't recall an event where they've done that before, though it's very possible that I'm forgetting one.
Well, I doubt that's the last one. I'll take what I can get.
Is this the bridge that... Yeah, so this bridge, there's an achievement for hanging out on it. Like, we just hang out right here until it collapses, because it's rebuilt with an event. If you hang out here until it collapses, then there's like a hidden achievement for that, I think. I forget what it's called. I think it's called What's That Creaking Noise? Doesn't look like there's anything. Oh yeah, there is. There's one up there. I did not realize that those harvesting tools came with noises. Not sure I'm a fan, to be honest. So I only play with the volume on when I'm recording. Or when I'm doing like news story and I want to hear the voice acting. Otherwise, I never have the volume on, so I had no idea that was a thing. Alright, so we need one more honey flower. Wait, is there one like right? Oh, maybe not. It looked like it looked on the map like maybe the sapling was right on top of the honey flower, but no, that is not the case. Alright, there's got to be one around here somewhere. Let's head over this way before we turn and go the other way, because I don't think I've been over to this corner yet. Yeah, so is this the last one we need? I think so. I think it should be number 10. Is this wolf coming or what? Oops. Poor ram. There's actually another one up here. Oh, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have come up here. There's all these dudes up here. Oh well, too late. I'm already up here. Might as well deal with it.
I'll break you down. They'll have to hit much harder.
Alright. Good times. So now that we have our stuff, return to the homestead and make a bed, right? So, I rather like the way they did the homestead entry thing here. We just choose summon conjure doorway, throw up the doorway, and through we go. I like that. That's cool. I would have been fine with, just like another emblem up here on the top or something like that too. I would have been okay with that. But the doorway thing's kind of cool. And of course, we knew they were going to do some doorway like that prior to the actual launch. They had described that.
Hopefully Har was receptive to your interest in his craft. Or at least tolerant.
He was glad to hear you're getting the place in order.
Okay. I think they did a really good job on this asset of this whole like building here. I assume it's actually multiple assets or something, but regardless, I think they did a good job of this. It's fun. All right, handiwork bench. Gotta make a bed. That is. Oh yes, but we do not have the necessary wood. That's what. Wait, what? I have 11. We need 15. Oh wait, that's fancy bed. Traditional Kodan bed. That's what we need, right? Yeah. Why do they have the same? Do they look the same? Hmm. Do I need 15 of the flowers? Have I messed up? So I forgot. We gotta get our wood. So here's one of the here's like the material sink to go along with the gold sink. Love this. This is absolutely like a great answer. So let's stock up. We'll get 25 of the refined homestead wood. It's going to cost us 100 elder wood. But my material storage on this account's actually full from elder wood anyway, so all is good. Now we should be able to craft, craft traditional coat in bed. Okay. Don't have to worry about the fancy one. Did I accidentally do a fancy one on my main account? I may have. Alright. Traditional Kodan bed. We got everything we need. Boomsies. Now we can craft. Or now we can decorate. We did craft. Well, that thing just keeps popping up. Holy smokes. Stop. Now they actually give us like an area where clearly it is explicitly clear where they want the bed. Like it's like for story purposes, that's fine. I'm actually on my main account in the process of clearing out all the decorations that can be cleared out from the entire house so I can redecorate the whole house. Maybe I'll put my bed up here. Like I wonder if there's a ladder you can craft and that way I can like sleep on a loft type thing. Let's put our bed down. Enter decoration mode. We need to select our decoration. Yeah, so the only thing we have right now is the bed. We're going to select that. We're going to place it. And I don't really want to place it, like, in the wall. How did I do?
I have not
Pretty good.
seen this pattern in some time. You met Willow as well, then. Pokey, does that blanket look familiar?
We had one, yes? On your bed. You and Ma. Forgot all about that.
A gift from a dear friend. For two young lovers embarking upon a life together. Funny how life can sprout anew from seeds long buried.
Alright. I'm pretty ambivalent on all that dialogue there. Still called her.
A fitting choice, Wayfinder. One of many to come, I'm sure. As you continue making this place yours, my only request is that you keep our village close to heart. Any additions, mines, farms, lumber mills, and the like can be of greater good to your community. May your new beginning here serve you well.
Remember nestling my way between you and Ma for warmth. Imagine me trying that now.
You've grown so much. We'd scarce have space to sneeze.
Ah, it's fading aurora.
Thought you'd still be here. I'm interrupting.
No, just saying our goodbyes. Rude it is to overstay in another's home.
Indeed. Wayfinder, you can really pull a place together.
Bit envious myself.
I came to pass along a message from Barbed Vale. She requests your presence at the hunting outpost a bit west of here.
What does she need?
Believe it has to do with the Journeykin. She'll provide you the details.
Alder, Pokey, take whatever time here you need. My home is always open to you.
Already the Wayfinder makes for a better neighbor than those obnoxious trolls.
All right, so I do know that a lot of this dialogue has put some people off. I did catch.
The gift Willow made.
Near identical. Seems she taught the pattern to the Wayfinder. Sharp as her weaving claws, that one. I buried the original when it became clear that its symbolism was no longer appropriate.
I'm sorry.
Perhaps that's not entirely accurate. Truthfully, a new beginning is precisely what I need. I'm getting too old for this.
I know exactly what you mean.
At the very least, I do owe Har and Willow a visit. Maybe Willow could weave me some new pattern.
Any ideas?
Perhaps we could ponder it together.
Oh. I'm sure we can figure something out.
Okay. So this, as I was saying, I know this dialogue throughout, once we're done crafting and come up here for the bed, everything after we place the bed down has been a bit off-putting for some people. Muckluck made quite a point of mentioning it in his video, and I do understand where he was coming from. I can see what was off-putting for him. I don't find it quite as off-putting. I don't find it weird that they're here in the home. I guess in my head canon, that is pretty normal in a bear village. Homes are pretty open to others. But that is, after all, headcanon, right? And that we don't actually get, aside from the fact that many of the homes are just hanging out with their doors open and people are in each other's homes. But aside from that, we don't have a lot of indication that is the case. Like, it's not specifically mentioned or anything. So I do understand why that's off-putting for some folks. And, certainly with the story complete, like, I will... because I am a person in real life who values privacy immensely and values security immensely. So you can be sure I will be looking to make a better wall than this on my main account and probably reduce the number of gates and on my gates actually put gates and stuff like that. I do plan to overhaul my homestead pretty extensively on my main account, just not on this one. I can't help but notice Malice and Kate are here. No, I almost accidentally clicked that. Hey, Commander, Fading Aurora had news for you, so we thought we'd tag along. All right, cool. Appreciate it. So in fairness, Fading Aurora showed up and our door was open and there were people with her. There are people inside. I think probably it made some sense for her to go in. How's reconnaissance going?
I was going to ask you the same thing, but you've secured us a new base of operations. Screw dragon hunting and world saving. You were destined for diplomacy.
No kidding. Could use a little love and more greenery, but I mustn't be picky. It's lovely. And things are going well, actually. While you've bonded with the Claw and his son, we've been getting to know the village.
Kaith is good at kissing babies and letting the Coden coo at her foliage. I've collected more intel on their situation. Remember those strangers that Poised Arrow mentioned? Oh, they're the talk of the town.
The cub's instructor did warn the little ones away from the woods. In the moment, I thought it was a standard warning.
People are being cautious, that much is clear. I'll see what else I can gather.
Now. Imperator, don't look so pleased with yourself. Trailing our hosts. Shame.
Hey, I'd do the same to you. Trust is a two-way street. If we're eating their food, I want to see what it's made of.
So I did not actually give consideration to the fact until just now when Malice said to Kaith, I'd do the same to you, that for whatever reason on this mission, so we are here on a diplomatic mission, but both the people who came with us are thieves. in terms of their class, right? I don't know if that was by design or not. I find Malice to be a very likable character, and I really appreciate Malice's role within this story and so forth. I don't like Kate. I've made no secret of that. But the the fact that they're both thieves is I did not really set in with me before now, and it is kind of an interesting thing. Kind of jumps out at me now that I think about it. All right, so we're now completed with our homestead in terms of story. I think we do come back here again later in the story once, twice. But the story process of obtaining hell no. The story process of obtaining the homestead is now complete, and was time consuming enough that we've probably reached, in fact, almost certainly reached at an hour and 11 minutes, stopping point for this video. And what a great place to stop. We will just kick it here at the spa. There we go. I will sit in a relaxed manner. I can't get down. I can only look from above, which is kind of interesting. I'll sit in an attentive manner. Maybe if I get into one of the other pools, then I can look like straight on. Let's see. Relax. Nope. We're just at kind of an oddly high vantage point. There we go. We can kind of do that, but then as we zoom in, it becomes from above. Anyway, we'll relax. Sit in a relaxed fashion. Oh, I think our face is below water. Maybe not good. Sit in a serious fashion. Oh, face below water again. Man, I'm really concerned about the commander's well-being. The drowned commander is bad commander. Oh, look, there's someone else chilling here, too. Oh, you can't see their name while they're chilling? That is interesting. Alright. Sit in a serious manner, which looks exactly the same as... face just above water. Alright. None of that was necessary for me to wrap the video, and I did it all anyway. What an annoyance. Let's wrap it up here. We now have our homestead, we have our warclaw, we have our spears. Finally, we can just pay attention to story in our story playthrough. But all those things are good things. In particular, excited for the homestead, so I am glad that we got to do that. Quite glad, in fact. So when we come back, we will continue to move forward. It looks, from the little story queue here, like we will be heading westward, further into the wilds, to the Coden hunting outpost to find out more about these strangers. Because really, in terms of the story, we've really advanced the story very little, right? We came here, we met the bears now like us, and we really don't know anything about Waiting Sorrow. That's essentially where we're at. That would have, in the past, interestingly, for ArenaNet in the past, certainly in like Secrets of the Obscure, and even I think some of the big expansions like Path of Fire, and wow, Living World Season 3, Season 4, their pacing was so fast that everything that we've done up until this point in Janthir Wilds would have been like a single instance in one of those. I really genuinely think that. So it is interesting that we're really, the pacing here is a bit different. I don't think it's a bad thing. In fact, I'm keen on it. But when we come back, we will move forward, and we're going to start trying to figure out what's going on with these strangers, right? So I will see you when that time comes around. And in the meantime, not time, that's an herb. In the meantime, I hope things go well for you. Talk to you soon.